Hey everybody, we're back.
What's
and
up?
Guess what? What episode is it?
24.
Episode 24.
24.
Woo!
Lucky
So
number
exciting.
24.
Yes, that is my lucky number. 24. That was my number playing sports my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
Is either 2, 4, or 24.
Nice.
Now you know. So this obviously is going to be a very special episode. And as we promised last episode,
We did.
we're going to be super annoying.
So happy Pride Month.
Happy Pride Month! But we're excited. We
Yes, we
had a lot of DMs and comments asking for a very special episode because I had mentioned it last week. And you ask, we provide.
And here we go.
We are givers like that.
Yes, we are.
So, but before we get started, because it's going to be very serious,
Yeah.
and I just want to talk about what happened in our studio the other day.
Oh, yeah.
You remember?
Please share.
Oh my gosh. So,
Pretty gnarly.
our son has a cat. He got him on his 13th birthday. He's a big, fat, black cat.
Mr. Darwin.
And his name is Darwin. And he's the best cat ever. He is so lovey. He lets anyone pick him up. And he's just the coolest cat ever. However, don't want him in the studio because he's a cat. And guess what cats do? They scratch.
Yeah.
They do all kinds of shit. And there's a lot of expensive equipment in here.
Yeah.
Don't want him in here.
No.
So that's the rule. And we don't even let our dogs. We have Noah's Ark here at this house, right?
Seriously.
We have 3 dogs and we have a cat. So the other night, Donovan
They share
came,
time.
They do. The other night, Donovan came in here to drop something off or put something in the studio.
Yeah.
And as he's walking in, I guess his cat came behind him.
Right behind
he
him.
didn't know. And he closed the door.
Yes, he did.
And he locked his cat in my studio, our studio.
And no one knew until the next morning.
Yeah, because he comes up to us and he goes, "Has anyone seen my cat?" And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And I go, "No." And as I'm saying no, I'm
Yeah.
thinking, because listen, Darwin's awesome, but he's a little asshole.
Yeah, he can be.
He will shoot out the front door and think he's a badass.
Yeah.
And he does it sneakily, like you're there, you barely open the door and he just goes shoo out the front door. So sometimes, I've seen you on the ring at night going, "Get over here, get in the house," right? Funny when it happens to him. It's not funny when it happens to me, because here's what I do. I'm like, "Darwin, get in the house." And he's like looking at me because he's halfway down the sidewalk, like, the walkway of our house in the front. And then I'll go, "All right, coop." And I just close the door on him. I close the door on him, shut off the porch light, walk away. And then like 15 minutes later, you hear him going, "Meow." And I was like, "That's what I thought, you little punk."
Yeah,
You're all
because he's lazy.
badass. He
He's not going to make it down the end of the driveway. He's
Well,
going to run out of gas.
thinks he's a badass. And he's not. He's a little princess. So anyway, he sneaks into the studio. No one knows. Donovan asks, "Have you seen my cat?" And as soon as I say, "You know what? No, I haven't," he goes, you can hear meow. And I go, "Is he in my studio?" Because we were in the hallway and I could hear him. And he goes, Donovan just had this look of fear. Like he just saw a White Walker. He's like, right?
And yes, Darwin does sound like Gary on SpongeBob. and
He
SquarePants.
absolutely does. And so he opened up the door and then he comes out and he goes, "Yeah, he was in there." And you see Darwin just shoot out the door and run down the hallway.
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay." So I'm thinking, Donovan, your cat was in there for a minimum 8 hours.
Minimum.
No food, no water, no cat box.
No cat box.
Okay, no litter box.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, what did he do in there all night? And I'm like, "Please, no."
Yeah.
And so Donovan comes back in and he comes out and he goes, "Well, I think he kind of pooped." And I go, "Kind of pooped?" That's like being kind of pregnant. There's no such thing. It's either you are or you aren't.
Yeah.
Either he shit or he didn't. Did he shit in my studio? And he
Boy, did he.
goes, "Yeah, guess what? He loves me so much, he shit on my chair."
Yeah.
Not 1 log, 2 logs.
Yeah.
And they were like this big. And I
Yeah.
go, "That looks like it came out of a dog. What the hell?
Human feces.
Oh my God. What the hell?" And I'm thinking, I never see it. Is it always that big?
He always buries it.
He always buries it in the cat box. And I'm going, "Oh my God."
I know.
And then so Donovan goes, "Okay, I'm going to clean it right now." And I go, "Yeah, you are." And then I go, "Wait,
Yeah.
did he piss in there?"
Yeah.
And he was like, "I don't know." And then he comes back and he goes, "Well," I go, "Don't you dare say he kind of pissed. Did he or did he not piss?" "Yeah." And he pissed all over your chair.
Yeah. That's how much he loves me.
And then I know, right? He loves me more because he left me 2 giant turds. Then, cherry on top,
Yeah.
he was trying to dig his way out of this room
Yeah.
like he was in Shawshank Redemption, and he like fucked up the carpet.
Yeah.
Like he literally ripped the carpet up trying to get out. I guess he had been crying all night. No one heard him. I don't know. And I'm like, this motherfucker,
I know.
dude, what the hell?
Yeah.
I'm not happy right now. But anyway, long story short, it wasn't Donovan's fault. It's
No.
not a cat's fault, but everything was washed and dried and everything's back to
together.
normal.
And we're back in the studio filming this for you.
And let me tell you something. This is how much I love you guys. I'm so creeped out about like poop on like anything,
Sure.
let alone the chair that I'm sitting on. And I'm muscling through it. And I'm trying not to think about there was 2 big turds where my butt is right now. Trying to not picture that. So anyway, here we are with episode 24. But today's
Special one.
today's gonna be a special one.
Not only lucky 24 for sure.
Well, I don't know about lucky, because
It is.
well, lucky that we're here, lucky that we have you guys.
Yeah.
But I can say this: it's going to be very emotional, and so I don't want to make a light of it, but I also don't want to be like super sad about it either.
Right.
But I will be transparent. Deal?
That's all we ask.
Okay. All right. So a lot of you guys asked last week because I did mention it. I said I'll say that for another time. Didn't know it was going to be in a week, but
The following.
yeah, the following week. But it makes sense because I'm cool with telling the story, and I also got Dayson's permission
Yes. Which was important.
to tell the story. And basically, we are going to talk about Dayson's coming out story.
Yeah.
And I like to say there's 5 parts to it.
Breaking it down.
It's a limited series on the AF5 network. So tune in, you guys.
Yes.
Strap in. This is gonna be good.
Yeah.
So all right, let's just get into it. Okay.
Start from the beginning.
Okay. So So freshman year, right? Dayson goes off to University of Oregon, in case you guys didn't know this.
Yeah.
And we're fired up.
Yeah.
We're like, this is our first baby.
Yeah.
Just out of the nest. Oh man, this is gonna be so great.
Yeah.
She, we drop her off in August.
Yeah.
Everything's good.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I was worried about her.
Oh yeah, we're parents. It's
Yeah.
our first kid going off to college.
Yeah.
She got into like 8 of the 10 schools that she applied to, and I told her, "You're gonna go far away,"
Yeah.
because we wanted them to go out and
Experience it.
figure. Here's the kicker: figure out who you are, what you want to do with your life.
This is the setup.
Yeah. Dun dun dun. Little did I know.
Live your life.
Yeah, little did I know that this was going to be something I was kind of prepared for, but kind of not.
Kind of not.
Right?
Yeah.
So, freshman year, she comes home to visit. Everything's good.
Yeah.
Goes back to school. Comes back home to visit again in November
Yeah.
for Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving. Rolling into Christmas. Yes.
Yeah, she's a little off, right?
Yeah.
And I know my kid. She's just, you know that vibe is just off.
Right.
So I say, "Hey, is everything okay? I know school's, it's new and new environment, blah, blah, blah."
Yeah.
No, yeah, everything's good. Then she comes back literally like 3 weeks later for Christmas because we didn't know. We're like, "Oh, come home for Thanksgiving, come home for Christmas." Later on, it's like, "No, figure out what you're doing on Thanksgiving." 'Cause, those flights are
Gets
expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
We learned the hard way. But anyway, she comes back in December. She's still that vibe's still kind of off. So we go to Starbucks.
Yeah. Just the
for
mommy and me. Yeah.
mommy and me date.
Yeah.
Just the 2 of us. We did some Christmas shopping. We stopped at Starbucks to kind of hang out. And we're talking, and I was like, "Hey, is everything okay?" Because I don't know, I just feel like you want to tell me something.
Yeah.
And then she's all, "No." And I was like, "Oh, okay. Are you sure?" She goes, "Yeah." But she hesitated. So I was like, all right. And I'm the parent who's like, they're going to tell me when they tell me.
When they're ready. Yeah.
If it's important, they're going to tell me now. If it can wait, she'll tell me when she wants to do it, So I didn't think anything of it. I just thought, okay, something's off. Okay. Fast forward a couple months. So we have Christmas. She goes back to school. A couple months later, she calls me. Okay. But before I tell you this, let me give you let me set it up for you. Let me set the scene for you. When I was in corporate America, so I worked a lot.
Yeah.
I've mentioned this several times. I worked a lot. I was in a high position at my company. And what we did in a nutshell is we go in, we pitch for the job, and first we practice, then we go in for the pitch. If we win it, we get the contract. I keep a bunch of people employed.
Yeah.
You're a sheriff at the time. So you're like far away. Both of us are working very hard.
Yes.
Okay. So she calls me and I just pull up to my office.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm meeting my team because we're going to do one more practice.
Right.
And then we're going to go over to the client's office.
Yeah.
And we're going to pitch
Because
this.
it's the day of the pitch.
The day of the pitch. Okay. So we got to,
Probably
practice.
probably didn't sleep the night before.
Of course not. Of course not. And then I did a dry shot of pre-workout with no water. That's a story for another day. I'll tell you that. But I was hopped up on 10 cups of coffee already. I was late to the practice.
To the practice.
And
yes.
we're not talking a lot of, I wasn't really late. It was like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was important for me to be there on time because I was leading this whole thing. And it was a $6 million job.
Yeah.
And so I pull up and Jason's calling me as I'm pulling into the parking lot, right? And I was like, "Hey buddy, what's up? I'm just letting you know, I'm pulling into my office right now. I have that big pitch today. Everything okay?"
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Well, I mean, not really." And I go, "Why? What's up?" Right? I'm parking.
Yeah.
Turn the car off. "Why? What's up?" And she's like, "Well, I'm just going to say it." And I go, "Oh man, like, did she get a bad grade?"
Yeah.
I'm thinking low level stuff here.
Yeah.
She goes, "Well, I just want to tell you, remember when you were saying if I was off, like back in November and then December?" I go, "Yeah." She goes, "Well, it's because I wanted to tell you something." And I go, "Okay." And she goes, "Well, I like this girl." And I go, "Okay." I'm not paying attention because here's what I'm doing. I'm like, I got one brain cell over here listening to her and 50 over here thinking I'm late. I got people waiting on me, right? We had a team of like 12, right? So there's 11 people upstairs waiting for me. And my assistant's blowing me up. "Where are you at? Everybody's here." I'm like, "Dang it." Right. And then I'm like, "Okay." I'm like, "So what does that mean?"
Yeah.
And if you know me, you know this.
I do.
I tell my kids, "Hey, when you're telling me a story, I want you to start 5 seconds before the end of your story.
Yeah.
Start there and then we end."
Yeah.
Because I don't have an attention span and I need you to talk to me in bullet points, right?
Yeah.
So she's hemming and hawing and I go, "Dace, like, what's up?" And she's like, "Well, no, I like this girl and like we're dating." And I go, "What? You're what?"
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, I'm dating." And I'm like, okay. And listen, so again, this is not an excuse.
No.
Right? I'm frazzled.
Yeah.
I'm late.
Yeah.
People are waiting on me. It's a big job. If we lose this job, people might lose their jobs, right?
Yeah. A lot of stress.
A lot of stress. A lot of preparation went in before this day.
Yeah. It's big money contract.
I'm chasing this job for like a year already. So I'm like, wait, what? And then she's like, "Yeah." And I go, "I had no inkling. Did you have an inkling of her being gay at all?" No, right?
The whole time I thought she was straight.
Yeah, because in high school, she had a crush on every boy. She had a new crush every week. Drew hated everybody. So like, except for her friends and her family, right? But she hated all the boys. But Dason had a crush like literally damn near every week for all 4 years in high school. And they were all boys. So we're not thinking anything like this. Like my mind is not even in this arena here.
Yeah.
So she says this and I go, "What?
Yeah.
What do you mean you're dating a girl?" And then so she proceeds to tell me how they met. And I go, "Dason, I don't have time for this right now."
Yeah.
And I said, I was really bummed too. Okay. I 1000% regret this. And we've already talked about it and whatever. But still, I'm sharing it with you because I'm hoping our story will help someone else.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I was an asshole. I said, "What do you mean? How do you even know? You've never even dated boys." Because our rule was no boys, not no boys, no dating
in high school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? No dating in high school.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're young and dumb. Like, you know what I mean? You can go hang out with everybody or whatever. If you have a crush, you can go to the movies, blah, 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 in a group, right? And do all this stuff. But, the real action happens in college. Man. So like, go spread your wings in college, right? So that was our rule. So like when she said this, I go, "Dace, you haven't even dated boys. Like, okay, that's cool. Like whatever, if you're going to date a girl."
Right.
I was like, "That's cool." So that's 1 point, I guess, out of 100. I got docked 99 points for my assholery, but I got 1 point for that. And I was like, just go date a bunch of just go date boys. If you're going to date girls too, like, do them both.
Yeah.
But like, you don't even know yet. How do you know?
Yeah.
how dumb does that sound? I sound so, I feel stupid saying it right
know.
now.
I know.
Because it's like, what do you mean? How do I know?
Yeah.
I know I'm straight.
Just like she knows she's gay.
Exactly. So stupid, huh? I feel like an idiot saying it out loud right now. But this is where I was at that time.
Right.
You know, and so I was like, just go kiss a lot of boys, do a lot of stuff, do first, second base, third base stuff like that. Then you can figure it out, you know? And she was like, okay. And then I was like, and then then the assholery like sinks in. And then I go, and then and this, I'm not proud of this, you guys.
Yeah.
I project, right? And I was like, hey, because then she's making me feel bad. And you know why? Because I made her feel bad, because I deserve it. But at the time, I was frazzled, right? And I just said, I was like, then I got pissed. And I was like, hey, you know what? Like, I can't believe you would tell me something this big.
Yeah.
And mind you, this is the worst part of it. I said, I can't believe you're dropping this. This is what I said. You're dropping this bomb on me right before I'm walking into this big pitch. You know, you knew what today was.
Yeah.
Now I'm blaming her
Yeah.
for telling her mom, one of her best friends.
Yeah.
What a fucking asshole. Asshole. Am I the asshole? Yes. Yes. Thank you for asking. I am the asshole. I was the asshole. I am the asshole, right? So then I'm thinking, what the hell? Like, you know? And she's like, okay, that's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay. And then I said, hey, listen, I don't want to leave it like this because we have a lot to talk about. So I'm going to go do this. I'm going to practice, do the pitch, and then I'm going to call you.
Yeah.
And she said, okay. So then I go upstairs, right? And I'm like, now I have one brain cell with these 11 people, and then all 99 brain cells are like thinking about Dason, right? So then we get through the pitch, and then, okay, so I'm setting the scene again. Whenever we do one of these pitches and we have our big team, the core, there's usually about 4 or 5 core people in this big group, right? These are like the leaders of all the disciplines that we're going to, pitch our stuff. We always ride in the same car.
Yeah. It's like a superstition.
Yeah. Oh, honey, are you tearing up?
I am.
Oh, I brought these guys. You know, if I bust these out, this tissue box, you know that it's going to be a doozy because I already know, right? By the way, if someone's really artistic, make me a little tissue holder so that it's not so ugly in this paper box. Anyway, sorry, squirrel. Okay, so we have this rule where the core people ride in the same car.
Yeah.
Because if something happens, someone gets stuck in traffic or something like.
Because something always happens.
Something always happens, right? So if we're all together, then the chances are lower of like, at least if us 5 or 4 or 5 show up, we can do the whole pitch by ourselves. Everyone else is just like cherry on top, right? If they don't show up. So when we're done, we go downstairs, go to the parking lot, and I say, hey, I'm going to drive my own car. I'll meet you guys over there. And one of my colleagues was like, no, that's not how we do it. He acted like, in the movie, what was it, Bug's Life? When the ants are all in a line and then something falls in front of him. He's like, what do we do? That's how he was acting, right, Henry? Yeah. He was like, what do we do? You have to ride with us. It's how we do it. And I was like, Henry, lock it up. I will meet you over there. I have a family emergency. I got to figure this out in my car. I'll meet you over there. I'll be right behind you. Okay. So as soon as I got in the car, because I wasn't supposed to do that, I told Dason, when I'm all done, then I'll call you. But I couldn't, because all I kept thinking was, what an asshole I was. Yeah. So I call her, and I was like, Dace. And she's like, yeah. And I go, buddy, I'm so sorry. And then I just started fucking crying. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't know why I said that. I'm frazzled. It's not an excuse. But then I don't know how to react, and like I didn't have time to digest it or whatever, and I still don't have time because I'm literally driving on the way. She's like, "You're not driving in the car with everyone else," because she knew the rule. I'm all, "No, I wanted to call you in private," and blah blah blah. Anyway, we cried all the way there. She's like, "It's fine. I go, okay, I promise you. As soon as I'm done here, I'll call you again." Okay, yeah, right. So we get there, and I pull the visor down to look at myself because I was bawling my eyes out, apologizing profusely. Because I handled it so bad, and I look like I did the walk of shame from the night before, from a hot night out or something. Because I had mascara all over my face, everything, my foundation, everything was fucked. Yeah, and I had no makeup with me, like none. Right, I usually keep it at my desk, and I didn't grab it, and I don't know what happened. So I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. So then I just took some tissue, some scratchy ass tissue, and just wiped my whole face because what am I gonna do? Am I gonna go in looking like Yzma from the Emperor's New Groove? And when she was crying and her face fucking melted. Or am I just gonna go with a bare face and like fuck it? Right? I'm gonna go ad natural. At least they'll talk about it, and then I'll make an impression. So I started walking up to the door to go to the pitch, and one of my friends was coming out, and she goes, "Girl, you okay?" I was like, "Girl, if you only knew." I said, "I left my bag. I'm going in for the pitch," and she's like, "Shit, I got you." So she pulled out her bag, and I'm really weird about using other people's makeup unless it's Jason and Drew. That's it. Like I won't use anyone else's makeup. If Adam does my makeup, everything's all fresh and new or whatever. Yeah. But like this time I didn't care, but I was putting eyeliner on. I was like, I hope I don't get pink eye. I'm putting lipstick and liner on. I hope I don't get a herpes or get a homie on my lip. I go, well, I don't know. Cold sore on my lip. Like, what? How long has that been there? Right? And I was thinking about that, and I was like, oh, that's what I get. It's karma, right? Yeah. Karma. For the way my face looks right now, that's what I get for being an asshole to our kids. So anyway, so then afterwards I called her, we cried again, and we talked. That's part 1.
Right.
Okay. Part 2, she goes, hey, are you going to tell daddy for me? Nope. Why would I tell your dad that you're gay? Like, why would I do that? That's your story to tell. She goes, I know, but I'm so afraid. I don't know what to say. And I go, what's there to be afraid of? Yeah. Like, you're the biggest teddy bear. If I get why she was scared to tell me. Yeah. But you, no. And I was like, no, Dace, it's not my story to tell.
Right. But the crazy thing about it is you already knew what she was going to tell me, but and you had told me, hey, Jason has to tell you a story, tell you something. It's very, very important. So when she gets home, be ready, right?
Well, I didn't tell you until the day she was coming home, right. Which was 3 months later. So I held on to the secret for like 3 months. And I listen, I'm not good at telling you. Ask my kids. They've probably talked about us or me on their podcast about how I cannot keep a secret. So if you don't want anybody to know, don't tell me. Unless it's something very serious.
No, of course,
like this.
Of course.
Obviously, but I can't tell you how many times I have outed people that were pregnant and they were waiting to tell everybody.
Yeah. But it's not like you didn't know. You didn't know. You didn't do it on purpose. You just didn't know.
No, I didn't know it was. I knew the secret, but I didn't know they were keeping it a secret.
Yeah.
Because if you don't tell me, hey, don't tell anybody. Yeah. I'm gonna think it's like common knowledge, and I'm just gonna share. Yeah. I think I've ruined 3 pregnancy announcements, maybe 4. I've outed people on accident, like, oh, I saw your husband with so and so, and they were like, what? Stupid. Is it not true?
Yes, it's true.
I think that's happened to me like 5 or 6 times. Yeah. I don't know why these things are attracted to me, like the things that I see. Anyway, I digress. So it was really hard for me to keep the secret from him because we talk about everything. Yeah. And so I told you on the day she was coming in, you were at work, and I said, hey, Jason's coming in. I'm going to pick her up from the airport. Yeah. But she's got to talk to you. So when you get home, we're going to talk. Right. And you were like, about what?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was super weird. Yeah. But yeah, so it took, I got home obviously before you guys, so it took a while for you guys to get home. So the whole time I'm thinking about it, And then as soon as you guys get home, I kind of I was in the back and you said, hey, Jason's home. She wants to talk to you now. And I was like, oh, no. Yeah. Because, not that I was scared to hear anything. It was just,
it's just the unknown.
I don't know. So we're sitting there, and then there's more hemming and hawing while we're sitting there because she was like, well,
and it's kind of like when your boss goes, like they slack you and go, can you come to my office real quick? I need to talk to you about something, and you're like, immediately you're thinking your head's like,
yeah, the worst.
You're thinking the worst,
right?
Yeah. So that's what he was thinking. He was like, what? You know? So she was like. I'm like, let's go in the living room. Let's talk. And then I go ahead. And she's like, and you're like, just tell me. He didn't say it like that, but he was like, can you just tell me what's going on?
Come on.
And then she was like, oh, well, I just want to let you know that girl, so-and-so. Well, we're not just friends. We're like dating. We're like girlfriends. And he goes like this, what? And I was all, oh no. I was like, he's going to be an asshole too. I was ready to jump in. Yeah. And then you were like, and then she was like, well, I mean, I have a girlfriend. And then you go, oh my God. And I thought it was oh my God, like that, but it wasn't. It was like,
it was a real sigh of relief.
Yeah. And then I was like, what? Like, what's going on here? And he goes, oh man, I thought you were pregnant. I thought you were going to tell me you were pregnant. And she was like, and we were both like, no. Like, he's like, woo, come here, bring it in. Bring it in. Let's hug. Yeah, let's hug it out. Yeah. And you're like, oh, Days, I'm just so happy. Yeah. And I was like, why? Because she's not pregnant. He goes, well, yeah, that too. But I'm just happy that you're happy. Yeah. And then he pushes her away and he was like, are you happy? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, that's all that matters. But I don't care who you love. I don't care who you like, who you're dating. Yeah. As long as you're happy and you're safe. Yeah. And then she was like, oh my God. Then she started crying again. Then he's crying. Then I'm crying.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
It was beautiful because she wasn't pregnant. No, I'm just kidding. No.
Dude.
It was beautiful because I feel like it was beautiful because she could come to us and tell us, like.
Yeah. And one of us can handle it better than the other.
It was just it was bad timing.
I know, but still, I have that big L on my fucking forehead, dude. Like, yeah, to this day.
I got plenty too, man. I got plenty.
No, it's something important like that. Anyway, I'll take my L and go home. But that's part 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then part 3. Well, technically part 3 was Drew, but you guys got to get the audiobook.
Yeah.
I was there. I was there in the studio when Drew was doing the audio recording for her Audible version of her book, and I was sobbing again listening to it, like in her voice. Amazing. So get the book, get the audiobook, whatever. It's if you want to hear that story.
That's part 3.
That's part 3. Yeah. So part 4 was telling other people, right?
With family, most important.
Yeah, family, like extended family, friends, whoever that people that were important, and she wanted them to know. Yeah. And so she asked me again, "Are you going to tell them?" And I go, "No, I'm not going to tell them. That's not my story." Okay. And I said, "But hey, pause, time out, hit the pause button. Before you do this, you got to make sure you're like 100% ready to do this. Once you ring that bell, Dace, you can't unring it. Right. So once it's out there, but no matter what, we got your back. Right. Your whole family has your back." And she was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah. And I said, "And I just want you to prepare because I don't know anything. This is all new to me too."
Sure.
Okay. We're all navigating this together.
Yeah.
However, common sense tells me the people who you think are your ride or dies,
may just not be that one.
They probably are not.
No.
You hope they are.
Yeah.
You wish to God they are.
Right.
But a lot of times they're not. And so I'm always preparing for the worst, but expecting the best. Yeah. So that's what I was doing in this situation. But we were both telling her,
right,
just be ready, stand by, buddy, because you just never know, and we don't want you to be hurt.
Right.
We don't want you to go in it blindly.
Right.
Right. So she's like, "Oh, okay." And so she waited even longer because she was like, "Oh, I'm not ready," which was good. That was admirable.
Fine. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I look at it like a tattoo.
Yeah. Or right.
Like, perfect. You're gonna get a tattoo. You better hope to God it's something that you can live with for the rest of your life because it's permanent.
It's not like you can erase it.
Yeah.
You can laser it later, but
is it really lasered off? Not really. But anyway, you get the point.
Yeah.
Right. So this is something that's very important. You need to take your time.
Yeah.
So she said, okay. So she still for months didn't say it. And then one day I asked her, so do you have to announce it to people? Mm-hmm. Like, do you have to say, hey, everybody listen up? Yeah. they're cling, 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 cling. I have, like they do at weddings. Yeah. I have an announcement. And she's like, no. And I go, okay. I was just wondering, was it important to you to do it physically or can you just be?
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I guess I could just be who I am. And I said, yeah, okay, cool. So she started posting pictures about her and her girlfriend. It was like a hard launch, and everybody was like, oh, cool. Yeah. Not everybody. A lot of people were like, oh, cool. And then the people who she thought were going to be like, maybe like, well, but still like be there.
Sure.
They weren't.
No.
They absolutely weren't.
No, nothing.
Yeah. So, started unfollowing her, blocking her.
Yeah.
Which was very hurtful to her. She was so bummed about that.
I know.
And,
she took it pretty hard.
She took it really hard and cried. And Mama Bear comes out. And I was like, fuck those people. We don't need them. They don't pay our bills. They don't bring any value to our life. Fuck them. They're just a bunch of leeches, right? And I'm sure that didn't make her feel better, but it made me feel better because in the front yard, we're going to fight in the front yard, right? And so so I was like, whatever, dude, fuck those people.
Right.
And so we were just going about, and then one of them decided to like say something on her Instagram.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, I just need to know the rules of this game.
Yeah.
Because you're not going to win.
Yeah.
So I was pissed.
I mean,
remember?
you could not say anything and we know where you're at and just kind of go our separate ways. And that would have been fine.
Yeah.
But to jump on and say something.
Yeah. And it was something to the effect of, it was some Jesus shit.
Yeah.
You know, this is frowned upon by God. And I don't know, even remember what it was, to be honest. But I remember it was some Bible beater shit.
Yeah.
And the bummer about that is because a lot of these Bible beaters in our family are that we're a part of their church, their family. They're like blood relatives.
Yeah.
Right. So that was very disheartening for her, to say the least.
Right.
It was infuriating for me because I was like, dude,
right.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
My kid can't be the only one in this fucking family that's gay. In fact, I know she's not. So, of course, I have to take to, Facebook where all these old heads are, right?
Sure.
And some of them aren't even old heads. They're just on Facebook. So I went to town. I was like just a hardcore, like, who do you think you are? Right. And people are there for the gossip on Facebook.
Oh,
when you see, I never post this or I never say stuff like this, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
I don't care if it's, family drama or whatever. People are like zooming in on it. Right? And I basically said, in a nutshell, my kid's not the only one in this family.
Yeah.
She's the only courageous one to do it out loud.
Yeah.
Or one of the courageous ones, because we only had one other one, and that's my cousin Josh. And his husband Mail.
Yeah.
And they had come out years before. They got married in Hawaii. It was like a thing, And I remember looking at their stuff going, man, look at these guys just living their life. How fun, man. How fun.
So happy looking.
Yeah, right? And then fast forward, here we are. So I said in my post, I said, she's just the courageous one.
Yeah.
And if y'all think that I don't know that who you are, here's the cities you all live in. So don't act like you've been here before. And I named like 5 cities where our family members are, and we all know they're gay. They're just not out about it. But one of them I saw kissing someone else that he shouldn't have been kissing. And that's one secret I did keep for many years.
Sure.
And I said, and one of you I did catch.
Yeah.
So you know who you are. And that was buzzing around my family. Everybody was like, who is it? Who is it? Shut up. You know who it is. Right. But I think they were talking about the one that I caught. Right. Yeah. And to this day, I still have not said anything. And so I posted that. Right. So we go on about our lives.
Yeah.
Okay. That's part 4. Part 5. Yeah. Fast forward. Okay. Dason and the girlfriend, they broke up, right? Really bad breakup after 8 years. I go to New York, I bring her home, right? She's crushed, right? Yeah. So then she's working through, trying to get through this breakup. Yeah. And, she was having a bad week that week. And I said, babe, I want to have a party. So I called Drew and was like, hey, what do you think we should, let's go out and let's just have that's when Ariana Grande came out with her song, Thank You Next. Yeah. I said, let's have a Thank You Next party. If you know, you know. And so she was like, oh my gosh, that's fun. So I go, you get on the phone, I'll get on the phone. We'll just start texting a bunch of people. Yeah. And when Dason came back from New York, my cousin Josh had texted her and said, hey, I hope you're doing okay. Yeah. It's never fun going through a breakup. Yeah. And she's like, oh, thank you. And so she told me about it. She was crying. She was like, that meant the world to her, because we haven't talked to him in years.
It's been a while.
Even before he got married, And so, so she was like telling me about it. And I told Drew, hey, I'm going to invite Josh and May. Yeah. And so we did. And then they brought a little posse with them. Yeah. There was probably 25 of us, maybe.
There was.
It was a lot. And so we went to Hamburger Mary's. If you don't know, out here, it's a drag bar / restaurant. Yeah. So fun. We had the best time ever. And she just felt like, oh, these are my people. Yeah. These are the people who are going to show up for me, right? Yeah. Regardless of any of your own thoughts or whatever. We just all knew we loved her. Yeah. And we wanted to make her feel better. Yeah. And so, like I said, I hadn't talked to Josh in so long. No. And that night, he was telling me, girl, your Facebook post. And I go, what Facebook post? mind you, 8 years later.
This is 8 years ago. Yeah. That's how long we haven't talked.
Yeah, I had no idea what he was talking about.
Yeah.
So he proceeds to tell me it was zooming around in the family chats all over. Everybody was talking about it and like trying to guess who I caught, whatever, and still haven't outed that person, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no way. And he's like, yeah. And me and Mel were just like, this is so awesome. Look at her go. We love her so much, And that was our bond.
Yeah.
We ended up trauma bonding, and we've been together inseparable ever since. So this was only 3 years ago, you guys. It felt like an eons ago, but it was only 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I started laughing and I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, see, don't mess with me, dude. And don't mess with my kids. That's all. Don't mess with my money and don't mess with my family. We'll be straight. And so I just thought, man, right? Just from me starting out in season 1, being an asshole, all the way up to season 5 where people are high-fiving me because I, did that nasty gram on Facebook and people are still talking about it 8 years later. Yeah. I thought, man, what a full circle, I've kind of redeemed myself, And anyway, that's the coming out story.
Yeah, it was quite a change for all of us, to be honest. I mean, I realized the biggest change was her, but
yeah.
It was quite a change. So, and that's kind of where we're going from here.
Right.
Is not only do we want to share our experiences like we just did, the mistakes we made, the whatever, right?
And boy, did I make a mistake.
Yeah, we want you to hear those and learn from them, right? Just as we are currently and will still continue to, especially when it comes to Pride and Pride Month, right? Like, so we want to.
Well, just in general.
Yeah, just in general. Yeah.
Yeah. But we'll amplify it during Pride Month for sure. So if I'm telling you my fuck up story,
come on.
Like I know I'm not the only one out there. I'm just being courageous right now, transparent. Yeah. But we do want to, so start off with our story, but then also have some takeaways.
Yeah.
We're gonna call you kids, no matter how old you are. I don't care if you're 50 or whatever. If you're 14, like we're gonna talk to the kids. And the parents, and we're going to give you some takeaways when you find yourself in this situation, whether you want to come out or whether you're hearing someone come out, you're a kid for the first time, or you've already come out and it didn't go well.
And it didn't go well,
I at least had a chance to redeem myself.
Right.
But not everybody gets that chance. So this might be your chance if you're in that situation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have 3? Yeah.
Yes, 3 examples.
3 takeaways. Yeah. Okay. And the first one we're going to start with is with the kids. Like if you're a kid and you want to come out to your parents or to your loved ones, okay, we're going to give you some takeaways. The first one is there's no one size
fits all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like our story's different, just like your story's going to be different, just like the next person's going to be different. Like there is no template for it.
No.
There is no template for it.
There's too many moving pieces and too many different family dynamics and relationships and connections and things like that. So we would be lying to you if we said, we have 5 steps on how to come out to your parents or your loved ones.
Yeah.
If anybody tells you that, they're lying, okay? or don't listen to them because that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Everybody's different, okay? Yeah. You just kind of know.
Yeah.
You know your thing. So that's number 1.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Number 2, we definitely know for sure. And that is make sure you're 100% ready.
It's just like Jason, you know, she thought she was ready. Yeah. And then when I said, you ring the bell, you can't unring it.
Right.
Then she thought about it and goes, okay, wait, no, I'm not ready yet. Yeah. Okay. So you need to be 100% ready and 100% safe.
Yes.
Okay. You need to make sure you're in an environment or in a dynamic where you're not being, you're not in an unsafe environment.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So those are ones we can for sure tell you.
Yes.
Okay.
Another one we want to share is...
Well, the last one.
Yeah, the last one we want to share with you is prepare mentally for the outcome, right? Like we were sharing, like Noel mentioned earlier, you want to expect the best, obviously, but prepare for the worst.
Mm-hmm. And that just means, hey, go through the scenarios in your head.
Yeah.
Like, if this doesn't go the way I want it to, what is it going to look like?
Right.
What is it going to look like during?
Yeah.
And what are you going to do after?
Right.
Okay. So these are just things to think about.
Sure.
Okay? We're not telling you to do them.
No.
We're just saying, hey, this is probably based on our experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The next one is for
the parents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is for when you're a parent like us.
Yeah.
And you have to receive this information and you weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to guess 9 times out of 10, you're not going to be ready for this.
I wasn't ready for it.
Even if you say you're ready for it, like I mentioned in our last podcast when I was pregnant with Donovan, I said, hey, we're having a boy, but what if he comes out and he wants to be a ballerina and he wants to wear dresses and he, tells you that he's gay.
Yeah.
And then you were like, well, I mean, if he wants to be a ballerina, then I'll just take him to dance practice.
Yeah.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, that's so great. I'm all hormonal and it's so great. Can you go to Taco Bell for me? I'm really hungry. Right. So when you're a parent and you're ready, you're trying to prepare for this. Again, there's no one size fits all. So we can't literally tell you this is what you should do.
Yeah.
We're just sharing what we did.
Yeah.
And what not to do. And then whatever works for you, that's what you should do.
Exactly.
Okay. Whatever feels good to you.
Exactly.
But so there's no one size fits all. And what worked for us, what we really leaned on, hindsight's 2020, obviously, but we look back and these are the things that worked for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like my experience when we explained earlier, I thought she was going to tell me she was pregnant. It's my unconditional love for my kid. That's what I leaned on. In that moment, I didn't know what she was going to tell me, but I know that I love her, and whatever she's going to say, whether she was pregnant or I'm going to love her and I'm going to take care of her. That's the unconditional love. And the want for happiness. I mean, we shared right after that. I just asked her straight up, looked in her eyes, say, "Hey, tell me if you're not happy or if you're happy." And she said she's extremely happy. I said, "Perfect. That's all I want. That's all I want."
Oh, is it? You had the perfect response. Whatever.
Different scenario.
I know. I'm just kidding. Clearly, I'm still triggered by it.
It's all good.
Well, I want to say, once I, took my head out of my ass and stopped wearing it like a hat, Jesus, I listened intently.
Yeah. Yes.
I really listened, and I know that I'm not experienced in this. I wasn't experienced in this, so I just need to shut the fuck up and listen, and then go from there.
Yeah.
Because far too often, us as parents, we have this little power play.
Yeah.
I'm the boss. You listen to me. You live in my house. That kind of shit.
Yeah.
I'm your mother. I gave birth to you.
Yeah.
That kind of shit. You can't let your pride get in the way of this because, and I know what people are thinking. They're going to be like, oh, what's everybody going to think or whatever.
Yeah.
Not me. I say, oh, I wish a bitch would say something about my kid.
Yeah.
Right? Front yard. We're fighting in the front yard. Okay. So for me, I just knew where I was falling short, and that's just education. I don't know enough to even have an opinion. So I was listening intently. Yeah. Okay. And I was asking genuine questions.
Yes.
So ask genuine questions. Yeah. My question for her was, how do you want me to show up for you? Yeah. How can I help in this situation? Like, what would help you navigate this world a little bit easier?
Sure.
So you don't have to worry about your family. Yeah. Because, if you tell me, I'm going to make everybody else do it.
Yeah. We're doing it together.
Right? We ride at dawn. Yeah. That's how we roll.
Yeah.
Right. And so for me, that's what I leaned on.
Yeah.
I asked genuine questions like about her and her lifestyle and the community that she's going to be in. Yeah. I asked questions. And honestly, some of them she didn't know because she was brand new to this situation. Right. So she had to learn and navigate that too. And we just kind of learned together. And I still ask questions. Yeah. I asked her, is it okay if I share your story? Yeah. And she goes, what are you going to say? I'm all, that I was an asshole? She goes, okay, yeah, go ahead. No, that's not even a lie. Did she not say, you're going to talk about, okay, yeah, you could do that. I was like, jeez. She's like making me walk the plank right now. So that was
important.
Yeah. And that's what I leaned on. And because honestly, our own experience with the community is at that time very limited. Very limited. I was with sports, so softball and cheerleading and dance. My entire life, I was a competitive cheerleader. Softball. I literally didn't know until my freshman year in college that half my friends were lesbians. Had no idea, because they were talking about the 80s and the 90s, right? Like we didn't. I didn't. I was just so naive and didn't even. I just thought everybody was a tomboy like me. Yeah. Had no idea. Yeah. And when I found out, I go, oh, makes sense. Cool. Right on. Yeah. So, and then, your experience in Samoa.
Yeah, it's accepted there.
Yeah. So we have very limited experience at that time.
Yeah.
So again, if you don't have anything nice to say or don't have anything to contribute to the conversation in a productive way, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up and listen.
That's it. And then, of course, educate yourself.
Yeah. There's a lot of ways you can do it. Books, podcasts, etc. I mean, your kid, they're experiencing it right now. Ask them.
Yeah.
They'll tell you.
Yeah, exactly. But here's what I want to say. That's a caveat. There's a caveat to that. Don't say, hey, teach me about your world. Teach me about the. No. Do your own fucking research. Right? Yeah. You start with you first. And then if you still have questions, then you Google it. Then if you still have questions, then ask your kid.
Right.
Or ask someone in that community and be fucking respectful when you do ask those questions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know I sound so harsh when I say stuff like that, but I was like, I can't deal with people sometimes. Like,
sure.
They're just, they're either being sarcastic or they're being lazy or whatever the case may be. So educate yourself first, then Google, then YouTube University, and then ask questions.
It's your kid, man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's your kid. I would assume these are the things, and that's why we're sharing these things, because these are the things that we wanted to do or are trying to do to support Dason, to support, her lifestyle, right? Like, and I would assume you would do the same for yours.
Well, you can't assume, because you know what they say. When you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. You can't assume anything, especially since we get a lot of DMs from you guys saying you're the parents we wished we had. So there's a lot of ugliness out there.
Sure.
But I love I assume everybody's cool. They're not, honey. You know what I mean?
It'd be nice.
I know. But, it just sucks.
Sure.
And especially with this. So educate yourself.
Right.
And then last but certainly not least, this is an easy one, but this is for both of you.
Yes.
Okay. Build connection.
Yeah.
And you want to build connection. And how do you build connection outside of doing all the things we already talked about?
Right.
Is like go to things together.
Yeah.
Go to Josh and Mayo started their first annual Pride Party.
It's been 3 years now.
Yeah. It was the year we all reconnected.
Yes.
And Josh was like, we should have a Pride Party. And I'm like, I know, right? So we did.
Yeah.
And when I say we, they hosted and we showed up. But I'll never forget that first Pride Party.
Yeah.
We had a blast.
It was fun.
We played games. There was a fashion show.
Yeah.
Like, it was so fun.
I know.
And I remember towards the end, Dason's like, she was like kind of teary-eyed. And she's like, I just don't think you guys know how important it is for you two to be here. Right. And mind you, I'm wearing, a pride shirt. I'm wearing like colored extensions in my hair. I got like rainbow eyelashes on. Like, I was just going to town.
Right.
Because I was like, this is kind of a flex. Our daughter's gay. We get to go to a pride party. I'm so fired up about this, right?
Yeah.
But she said to both of us, you guys don't understand how powerful it is that you guys and what an impact you're making just by being here.
Just by being here.
And I was like, why?
Yeah.
I'm like,
same.
I assume everybody's good. Like, I'm just like, why? What's the big deal?
Yeah.
And she said, look around. Look at all these, all these people that are here, which 99% of them were from the LGBTQ community, right? Friends and the colleagues and whatever. And she goes, do you see any parents here with their kids celebrating Pride? And I go, oh, no.
I know.
I didn't. Not a one. Just us. And so I go, man, and she was like, it's just people know you're my parents, and they're fired the fuck up that you're here, and it just gives them hope. And I was like, okay, stop! I'm crying in my tequila. What the fuck,
Felt pretty good to hear that.
Yeah,
Not
and
gonna
then
lie.
I'm not even kidding. Like 5 minutes later, my other cousin came up to me.
Yeah, I said the same thing.
And she was like, said the same thing, and she started crying, and I was like, did you guys all have a meeting without us? Like, what the hell?
Seriously.
But it was so fucking sweet.
Yeah.
Made our heart just explode. It was so cute. And this is going to be the 3rd annual.
Yeah.
Super excited.
Super excited. You guys got to go to LA Pride.
Yes, because Dason got a brand deal through Prime Video, and they invited her to walk in their sponsored, section of the Pride Parade. And so we went and had a blast. We took Josh and Mayo.
Yeah.
It was me, Drew, and Dason.
Yeah.
And we just had so much fun. And, you know, people were saying, oh, we love you, Dason. And people were saying, oh my gosh. So like Drew, like one young kid was like, I didn't take my life.
Oh yeah.
Because,
I forgot about that.
Because you gave me courage. And I was like, what the fuck? I turned around and he was like, you know.
Yeah.
And no, they.
Yeah.
They were like holding out their hands, and I was like, I just went to hug. Like, you're their mom. Oh my God, give me a hug.
Yeah.
And I was like floored. I was gobsmacked, right? And we've had a lot of those since then. A lot of those instances where people are just like, you know, just so touched by, you know, Dason and Drew and what they have been doing for the community. So we did that.
Yeah.
And then
we also did Disney.
We did the Disney Pride.
First year.
The Pride event they did for the first time, which was last year, the inaugural year.
Yeah.
So much fun. I'm going to put some pictures up here of us at Pride, but I'm not even joking. I cried like 10 times. I really, honest to God, I cried 10 times. You know why? It was a safe space.
Yeah.
It's the happiest place on earth. Not me tearing up right now. I'm like, let me just grab these tissues and slide them back towards me. People were holding hands. They were kissing. They were dancing in the streets. The parades were fucking awesome. And there was, you know, rainbows everywhere. It was just so fun. I bought this shirt last year. I bought these ears last year. Just Disneyland really stepped the fuck up last year.
It was awesome.
Oh, so cute.
Yeah.
Our whole point in telling you all this, you guys, is just connect and meet them where they're at and have fun and, you know, do what you got to do to, you know, create that bond. And I said it in jest, kind of like, oh, our daughter's a lesbian. This is a flex because now we're in the club. You know what I mean? We get to hang out with everybody.
A whole new community.
Yeah. I say that in jest, but kind of not. But also, like, this is like a new way that we get to bond.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just so fun.
A couple more ways to connect too, right? Outside of these pride parties, the parade, the Disney. Let's not forget meeting their significant other.
Yeah, like if they have a partner, meet their partner and get to know them and support them in that way too. If not, then, you know, maybe like Dason has a crush every week. So she'll send me and Drew like a picture, like, or she'll say, hey, I have a crush. I want to show you guys the picture. And then we'll immediately FaceTime each other. Yeah. So the three of us will be on like, okay, let's see it. She'll share her screen and we're like, ew, no. Or sometimes we'll be like, oh, yeah. Athletic and hot. Hell yeah, let's do it. You know, because she's on this new basketball kick, which is awesome because why is WNBA so fun to watch? So fun to watch. Way more exciting than the NBA. But yeah, so we talk about crushes. So that's another way you can bond too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you guys, change is scary, man. Nobody likes change. You know why? Because you get in a rut. You do the same thing all the time. And when like shit gets shaken up, you're like, what?
Yeah.
It's like those ants in like, you know, Bug's Life.
Oh,
what do I do? Right? Just don't react like me. Okay.
Number one.
But number two, like imagine all the cool stuff.
Yeah, you get to experience it.
That you get to experience together. Right? When you let down your guard, you set your pride down.
Yeah.
You know, all the cool things. And like we talked about before we started filming right now, before we hit record, you were telling me something that I think you should share.
Oh yeah.
I like to do things like that, and like he was like, you know, we were talking about him painting his nails, and like just something as simple as that is so freeing. Yeah, you were saying
the idea of being able to do it and it makes me happy is super freeing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Mm-hmm. Like I literally don't care. All I care about, obviously, is my happiness. You know what I mean. So doing it makes me happy. It's super freeing. And so, you know, understanding her, Dason, her sharing with this experience, us bonding on it, us working with it, I can only imagine how freeing she feels. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and because if something as like small as painting your nails makes you free, imagine what your kid's going to feel when they know that you love them after what they just told you because they had fear in telling you that, right? But the other part to that story is, you were like, I feel so free and this feels so good. Imagine if I could have done this earlier in life. Yeah. Who would I have become?
Yeah.
I thought that was very important for us to share that today, because imagine if I continued to be an asshole and wear my ass as a hat, what that would have done to my kid.
Yeah.
So if your kid is coming out to you or just came out to you, or you're trying to prepare yourself, just know this, like you only get one shot at this.
Yeah, man.
And you got to do it right.
Yeah.
And the way your kid turns out after the news is shared is a make or break situation. It could really impact the rest of their life.
Yeah.
One decision that you make could change the whole trajectory of your kid's life. So remember that before you open your mouth, before you open that hole in your head,
your face,
that hole in your head, and you say something stupid that you can't take back, right? Yeah. Thankfully for me, mine wasn't super dumb. Well, it was super dumb, but I think it wasn't something that I couldn't come back from.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I feel like because you had a moment of clarity, like right after, I think is big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you realize it. Oh shit, I fucked up, right? Like I got to go back and I got to fix this.
I bet you parents whose kids already came out to them and they acted way worse than me, or even if they acted like me, and they knew I bet you they knew they were wrong.
Yeah.
And it was hurtful, but their pride didn't allow them to say sorry. At that point, I had no pride. I had zero pride. I'm all, please forgive me. I'm so sorry. You know what I mean?
But so in a sense, you understand it, but at the same time, it's not, it's not right. Like, I understand the pride. I understand how you were raised or your values or whatever, right? Like, I understand that. But at the same time, you have to understand that doesn't matter because that's not your life. No. That's theirs. Right?
Exactly. Like, and who the fuck am I to say anything?
Yeah, you can't like
I look at it like this.
Sure.
And maybe this is weird, but I look at it like this. No one gives me shit for being straight.
No shit. Huh?
So why the fuck am I going to give anybody shit for being in the LGBTQ community? And who am I to say?
Who am I to say that's right and yours is wrong?
Yeah. Who died and made you king or queen, right? Yeah. So I look at it like that.
Sure.
Like, who am I to say anything? No one gives me shit about it being straight. Anyway, that's just my weird way of thinking about it. And I hope you will receive that information and put it to good use, because we all need to. It's so easy to love, man. Yeah. It's so easy to love. And it's a
lot more fun.
It's not only is a lot more fun, but like when you hate on someone just for their lifestyle, the way they want to dress or whatever, how exhausting.
I know. It takes a lot of energy. Yeah, for sure.
I don't have the attention span for that. Maybe that's why. It's like, nope. And that's it, you guys. That's our story. Yeah. Those are our tips and tricks, our takeaways. And I would love for you to take us out with a quote of the day.
No problem. Here we are. What's more difficult, accepting your child for who they are or burying them because you couldn't accept them for who they were?
Ugh. I can't even imagine burying a kid. Do you guys want some of this? This for our Spotify people. I'm handing you guys a box of tissues for crying, because that one sucker punched me in the gut when I found that. So listen, life is short. Right. Accept your kids for who they are. Live life to the fullest. Yeah. Love up on them. Yeah. Okay. We are going to end on I want to give you guys some gentle reminders. Okay. Don't forget, look at this. This is our ad mat for the Loud Tour tickets. Yes. This is for featuring the two idiot girls. We have a lot of shows that already sold out.
I know.
I'm so stoked.
We're excited about it.
I know. But, and a lot of you guys are saying, I hope we get to meet you there. We're going to be there. So make sure you guys get your tickets. Yeah. Get it on the next payday. Save some of your check this day. Pull it all together, buy your tickets. It's going to be really, really fun. And we can't wait to high five you guys, hug you, meet you guys in person. So don't forget about that. Also, we've had a lot of questions of where do we submit our advice questions? Yeah. We'd like for you to do it via DM
on IG,
on Instagram, which is at AF5Life. We'll put it up here. So that you can, submit your questions, just so you can have privacy if you don't want anybody to know that you're asking these questions. But some of you guys have already submitted and don't care and just drop them in the comments. Awesome. That's okay too. Whatever you want to do.
We love them.
No matter where. So, we have IG. We do have a Facebook. If you're a boomer, you want to put that on Facebook, or
TikTok.
Our TikTok.
Yeah.
See? Yeah. And that's my next reminder. Don't forget to follow us on TikTok.
Yes.
We do have a TikTok. It's AF5 Podcast. Now, don't give me shit about two different AF5 Life on Insta and AF5 Podcast. AF5 Podcast was already taken on Instagram. long story. I'll tell you guys about it in another lifetime. But anyway, that's TikTok.
Yeah.
And then don't forget to like, comment, and share.
Please.
One thing I do want to, and I'm going to put this up on Instagram, but we did have a new follower on YouTube. This literally sent me to tears, and I screenshot it and sent it to you via text
Same.
when I was at Lonnie's graduation.
Yeah.
It was basically someone said, I came across your YouTube short, and I really don't, I'm really cautious. I'm really cautious about people who say they're allies, because he's part of the LGBT community. And he said, but I watched your whole podcast and it was awesome. And anyway, really nice stuff, this person said. And that brought me to tears, because this is someone who didn't even know us, doesn't follow Decent or Drew or whatever. And that's the whole point of this, is that we want to reach people.
Yeah, we want to help.
We want to help in any way we can.
Any way we can.
Even if it's at my expense. So please like, comment,
mine as well.
But please like, comment, and share with others.
Yes.
If you are so inclined.
Yeah.
We would appreciate it.
We appreciate you guys every single week. This is episode number 24 in the books. We love you guys.
And we're going to continue to be super annoying, because we have a couple more weeks for Pride Month. So we'll see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.